Hey guys, welcome to another day on the shop. Today, we've got Michael, and we've got an F150. So today we're putting a new radio in, the F150. It's a 2010 model. We have a box, which all I did was open it just to check out the components. I haven't really got into it, but that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna put this tailgate down, the F150, the old F150, and we are going to check out all these components. So let's do it. So this is the radio with the whole assembly of the interior molding for the radio, the AC, and all that. That's what makes this installation so simple and easy. So the radio in the back is super simple to connect everything. So you have all your plugs right here. You have your GPS, your antenna, and then your radio itself. Everything else just plugs right in. There's a couple of screw holes for each thing, as the AC, and then the cigarette lighter, and the entertainment section where we're gonna have a USB port going from here up to the radio itself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the old one out, and we're gonna put the new one in. The reverse camera with all the wiring to it, the GPS, USB. This is for an amplifier, and I think the fan as well goes to that, if I'm not mistaken. There's an internal fan in there that's controlled by that. This is the plug-and-play harness for the truck itself. So this all plugs into the factory-style harness, and this plugs into the back of the radio. And then you have your antenna. So that's everything you have and need, and yeah. Excuse the sweat, it's really humid here. So we're gonna get in the truck and take a look at what he has, and go ahead and pull it out and start putting this in. So we've already started disassembling the old one. You pull these tabs out down here on both sides, right here and right here, and then the radio sits inside there in this little molding. So we're gonna pull this molding all the way out, disconnecting these buttons up here, the AC down here, and then the entertainment stuff down here, as long as with the 12-volt plug-in. The radio bezel that we've already had in here for another radio is coming out, and then this whole assembly is going to be dismantled and put into the other one. And right after we do that, we're going to plug the whole system back in with the new molding and everything else. So it makes it super simple, super easy. The wiring is all factory connects, so you don't have to worry about much with that. It just plugs straight into the factory harness and right into the back of the radio. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and pull this out, disassemble it, and then start installing everything on the radio, the new radio bezel. All right, so here's the assembly from the stock assembly from the F150, and then here's the new radio right here. So with this, as you see, you have Torx bits right here on the sides of the AC component, and then up here, which this is going to pop out, it pops in right here up under the radio. So that takes away from that, and then takes this and fills all these spots in. Next is you got your cigarette lighter, and then your media port right here, which is going to go right there. So we're going to knock all this out, get it all together, and then start looking at the wiring. It is a super simple install. If you have any mechanical sense whatsoever, or you know what a screwdriver is, you could probably do this yourself. It doesn't take much, doesn't take long. So let's start moving this over here, moving this over here, and then we're going to look at the interior of the truck with the wiring and knock that out. All right, so we put the USB and the aux cable in here. Not sure if the aux is actually going to plug through the radio or not, but this goes directly into the radio. I did epoxy it into the old USB place due to the factor of I didn't want it popping out in or out. So it is definitely secure in there now. we've got the whole back of the radio assembled. This just plugs in right up here in the little or the little 6-piece right here somewhere. And once we do that, we will be done. So that's where it plugs in right there. And we're working our way down the list of everything else. And so we will have a USB charger and for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So this wire right here is just for the fan right here. It plugs into the harness as well. Everything else plugs into the harness. The little screen in the back we don't have to remove. It just sits in the back. We don't worry about that anymore because we don't have to look at it. So it does not integrate into this system, which is bad and good in the sense of you don't have to worry about more wiring. Bad because you don't keep up with your little data center with the radio itself or the truck itself. But these are a T20. You just snug them up with your Torx bit and make sure that it's snug enough to where it's not going to pop out. This just squeezes on the side right here on both sides and pops through the front, and then these have little tabs along the sides. And then you also have your 12-volt system right here for cigarette lighter charging or whatever you wanted to have charged. So we're going to put that back in here as well, and yeah, we'll be ready to assemble this in the truck once we get the wiring done. All right, so as you see the wiring, it plug and plays. We don't have an amp, so we don't use this plug right here. But we have a control box. We've got the plugs already plugged up. Everything's ready to go for the radio itself. So you have this that plugs into the back of the radio. You have this that plugs into the back of the radio. And then you have your antenna with the antenna adapter. And then we also already have the GPS installed right there. And then here is the cord for it. The rest of the wiring right here goes to the AC controls, the audio, the 12-volt, and then the hazards and traction control and all that right here. As I said before, the screen stays in. You don't have to worry about it. Everything will push in and be adapted into all this. So all this wiring is all you need put in here. Looks like a jumbled mess of rat's nest, but you'll see it's quite easy once you get the radio in. So let's grab the radio and look at the back of it real quick. We got a few plugs we need to plug on into the back of it before we put it in here. All right, so as I said before, the USB right here goes up here, plugs into the 6-prong right there. We also have this white cord that goes to audio controls for an amplifier, which we don't have, but it will plug in right there. And then it plugs the fan right here, and you can control the fan from the radio. So we'll plug this in, and then these other controls is you have your backup wires, or your backup camera wire right here, which is the 4-pin that goes right there. Then you have a couple other ones for these right here, which are the other USBs. We do have a mic, which we're not using right now, so we don't have to worry about it, so we can toss it to the side. Then we have a backup camera right here, which, like I said, the wire plugs into the little 4-pin right here. Once we hook all this up, it'll be in. It's quite simple, quite easy. I'll show you how it's done with the certain wires and everything else. So let's plug these in, and then we'll talk about this backup camera. All right, my mistake. This is an 8-pin right here. So we plug it into the 8-pin or 10-pin. That's what it is, 10-pin. But this is the reverse camera right here. It plugs into this wire right here, which goes all the way back to the very back of the truck or car with your camera, which you can put it wherever. This plugs into the camera itself. It has a 12-volt setup. I like to plug mine into the reverse lights, so you just adapt it to the reverse lights with the red wire. The black wire is a ground on here. It plugs directly into here. These do the same thing. This plugs into a 12-volt source in the back of the vehicle where this is, and like I said, you plug both of these into the reverse lights, and then up in front you plug this in and wire this into a wire that's strictly for the 12 volts when this turns on to reverse. So it's not difficult, it's pretty simple to put in. You have all your screws and all your mounting hardware right here. So it's very, very easy, not difficult at all. So we're gonna go ahead and get this in the truck. This is a later deal, which you'll probably see in a short of how to do this, because we're not gonna deal with it today. It's just a little bit more work with using grommets and other things. In cars, it's a little easier, but this truck doesn't have a grommet to go from the cab outside in the rear of it. So we're gonna have to drill a hole, put a grommet, and do all that. This is super simple. So we're gonna plug this in, and these wires we don't have to worry about. We'll probably tape them off to make them a little bit easier to deal with. And then we plug in the radio, and then these are the plugs right here, and we're done. All right, these wires are a little tight fit, so we're gonna have to place the radio down here, and then we're gonna have to plug them in one by one, which we'll show you how to do that as we do this. So here's what we're gonna do. This is the antenna right here plugging in. Then we're gonna plug the GPS in, which is screw it in hand tight, or use a little wrench just to put a little pressure on it so it doesn't just undo itself. And then all these other wires, we have not a whole lot of slack in, and we're going to have to just finagle them in one by one. So it's going to be kind of complicated to show y'all just because of how tight this fits in here. But once we get it in, it should be super simple to operate from there, and everything should work. So the radio is basically plugged in, minus that black wire right there. It just doesn't have a whole lot of reach, so we're gonna have to plug it in and then put the radio in itself. So we will see you in a second. All right, here it is. All the molding back in, the radio's in, all these work. So we've gotten everything in, got the sink set up right down there, got your 12 volt, got your AC, it's all plugged in. Radio is plugged in, and now we're gonna start it up and check out the features. All right, so as you see, we are listening to music right now, which we shouldn't be because it's going to get copyrighted. So yeah, we're hooked up to the phone. We've got our navigation, everything right here. We've got all these controls on the sides that work. Press navigation, it goes to navigation. Right now it goes to Google with my phone. It'll pop up with everything I need for Google Maps. If you're not on your phone, it will actually create navigation for itself as well, and it will find the vehicle and tell you your speed and everything else and wherever you're going. So it takes a little while to load most of the time, especially if your internet's slow like mine. But we have all these different things. This actually tells you what your AC is doing, which is a feature I haven't seen before. You got home on here, you got home up here, which is pretty cool. All your music, everything else, your miles per hour. You can move this over and search everything you need to search. You can go to YouTube, you can hook up to Wi-Fi. There's many features on here you can sit there and do. You can even hook it up to an AV source as of a camera or anything else, or even a video game system. So you got all this, the Apple, Google Play Store, Bluetooth music, Chrome, like I said, all those features. Extremely, extremely nice towards things. You got your music and everything else, which it just plays whatever. I don't even know where this stuff comes from, but it does. I mean, you got files on here which you can put in stuff and switch stuff up. Go back to navigation, go to band, go to the radio if you want, and then circle through that, all 3, 4 bands, and then come back to music, go to mode. Let's pause that. Mode, all types of modes up there. Phone, if you want to call somebody, it hooks up to your phone. My phone's not hooked up for my contacts or anything, but these switches work and everything else. It is telling me it's 100 degrees outside, which it feels like. So yeah, these features are pretty nice. I really enjoy this on the radio. Like I said, you have all these options and everything else you can go through. So super easy and very friendly way to create a better audio system or stereo navigation system for your vehicle, especially one that's a 2010. So you need to go to the link in the description below, check yours out, and you can use the discount code in the you can use the discount code in the description below as well. It should save you about 10% just using that code. So check out everything in the links in the description, and yeah, thanks again for joining in to another episode of The Shop.